Tailgate Show. And you say Shot City, the Tailgate Show, the Tailgate Show, the Tailgate Show. And you say Shot City, the Tailgate Show, the Tailgate Show, the Tailgate Show. And you say Shot City, the Tailgate Show, the Tailgate Show, the Tailgate Show. And you say Shot City, the Tailgate Show, the Tailgate Show, the Tailgate Show. And you say Shot City, the Tailgate Show, the Tailgate Show, the Tailgate Show.
What is up? Yeah. Welcome back for another episode of The Tailgate Show. Bears win.
Victory shades
Bears
on,
win.
baby.
Just how
Bears
we got it.
win. Bears motherfucking win.
Just how you drew it up, right?
Nope.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, though, that first half might have been the best, like most complete team half I've seen potentially in Bears history, man.
Crazy.
Wait, Bears history?
My
no
Bears
finger
history.
counting today. No finger counting today.
Yeah, no, there was no Deshaun Watson celebration.
I'm not buying tickets to Tampa or anything, but I'm saying like that was a complete first half, man. That was impressive. I know it was just the Texans, but that was just the Texans that all the talking heads said Deshaun was going to get his revenge game against us.
Yeah.
So,
how'd that work out for you?
Yes. I mean, number one, David Montgomery, 80-yard run, tied for fourth in franchise history with Neil Anderson in 1988 against the Packers.
did you see that hole?
Yeah.
I could have got 5 out of it, maybe.
I'm just saying but that's
Right.
sweet, man. But like that was a beautiful play on everybody executed and boom.
But like that, you know, like there's conflicted people out there who, for whatever reason, and I'm sure it's just more social media performance art, but whatever, are acting like, you know, I'm not sure if I can feel good. Like, come on. Like,
Enjoy it, man.
Just come on. Like, if you are sitting here and you're actually conflicted about whether or not you can feel good about this, and then I don't know. I'm not sure something's wrong with you. Like, legitimately, I think something might actually be off with your brain. Like, you have to be able to compartmentalize. And I think that we all do that, right? Like, I mean, when the game
we're not saying they're
starts,
going to the Super Bowl, but damn, enjoy it.
right.
That's
Right. Like, you know, and I said this before, like, I can't actively root for them to lose. Like, I can rationalize it later and come up with reasons why it's not the end of the world later. But when I'm watching the game, like, I don't even have that ability, and I don't understand. You know, do you fan how you want? I'm not saying don't, but I just don't understand it. That's all I'm saying. Like, I look at you and I go, "Oh, you're different. Like, your brain doesn't work like mine," and that's cool.
People hang on their takes too hard, man. They want to say when they say Pace and Nagy need to go, that means there needs to be failure.
Right.
They still. I'm not saying they still don't need to go. One game doesn't change that.
Well, but that's what's crazy is, and we were talking before we started, is don't you feel like this franchise is just teetering on a razor's edge where you say it doesn't change that? I think it might have. Like,
you got to see that against Minnesota. You got to see that going forward.
Right, but if this team somehow gets itself into the playoffs, I believe everybody is back for another season, including number 10. And I don't know how that happens.
Wow.
But I have this weird feeling that if they get to the playoffs, that everybody gets another bite at the apple. Because
if you get this Mitch Trubisky for the last 4 games of the season, which it's possible. I mean, you get the past 2 he's played pretty well.
Yeah, Green Bay might barely suit up if they've already clinched.
They're gonna. It looks to me like they're gonna be fighting for a number 1 seed. Because
I'm just saying, you look at the schedule last week of the year. If they've already clinched, like a first place bye.
You don't think the Packers want to just curb stomp our ass and keep up?
I'm just saying how it's lining up. I could see that. I could potentially see that him going on a little run.
Yeah. I mean, look. Let's go. Let's ride the pony all the way around. You know what I mean? And let's say that the Bears Is there a difference? Like, if let's say the Packers are out of it and they really bench everybody, which I still think is a remote scenario, but it could be. I mean, the rest of the NFC does kind of suck. So, I mean, they could be in that scenario. But let's say that they're not, and that the Bears legitimately beat them to get into the playoffs. If that happens, everybody is coming back, bro. Like, Ted Phillips is like, I got a second wind. I'm gonna hang around a while.
Well, just getting in the playoffs, right? If you get hot at the right time, and we know we have the talent, it's just the talent. It's just never all comes together, and it did today.
Which was wild, wasn't it?
We have the
Right, all
talent.
three phases.
The talent, if executing, we could actually do something in the playoffs if we got hot.
Right, and that's why I say today, for probably the third or fourth game in a row, it's exposing Matt Nagy more and more, and not Ryan Pace. There is talent on this roster. This coaching staff cannot find it, utilize it, maximize it, any of that.
Correct.
Across the roster, this is a problem. In every phase of the game, it's a problem. But on the offensive roster, it's unbelievable. The fact that this offensive line, that they said on the broadcast, they played with like 5 different centers or something crazy,
Right.
like 6 different offensive line groups. You know,
I'll tell you what,
time that they've had 3 games to play together, right? And it's all happening by accident.
Yes. Which is crazy. How is it taking an accident to get Sam Mustipher at center? Which, preseason, I was not a Sam Mustipher guy. I did not think. But
that's okay, because what did you see of him? And this is another theory that I have, is that they're not practicing at all. I think this team doesn't practice. Like, that's, now they're locked out of the building 2 days a week. They give all these guys their veteran days off. Like, what practicing is happening? Here's a stunner.
They're practicing.
They're not practicing enough, and I don't think any NFL team is practicing enough.
Well, that's CBA shit.
But Nagy is also soft as tissue paper in the rain on practices. And here's another thought, and I think that this might be this. We can get into this, but why is Mitch better? Wild theory. Mitch is better because he actually got to practice when he was running scout team for the first time away from Matt Nagy, right? He's not with Matt Nagy anymore. Nagy's off with his buddy Foles. Like, so Mitch got to play with professional NFL players away from Matt Nagy for the first time since the John Fox time, right? And with no pressure and whatever. And Nagy got backed into a corner where he has no choice but to go back to Mitch and that offense that kind of worked at the beginning of the year. And now Mitch is like, yep, we playing my game now, playboy. Like, all your shit's out the window, Jack.
He's still on the team, man. Nagy doesn't send him to an island. It's not like, oh, you go on practice squad. The coach has.
But Mitch said that, like, they didn't have much communication. Like I'm saying, like, I think Nagy is a delegator, like an extreme delegator.
So what you're saying is, Mitch being away from Nagy, which was Nagy's decision to bench him. So ultimately, Nagy's decision actually benefited Mitch.
Right, back-assward way, sure. I mean, but that doesn't
tried everything else.
No credit.
No stone unturned, I guess, because they tried everything else. So maybe benching Mitch actually brought this out of Mitch.
Yeah, but Nagy gets 0 credit for that. That may be what ended up happening.
He made the uncomfortable move, man.
You know what makes a big difference is that you figured out some pieces on your offensive line.
Yes.
Like you said, you got Mustipher. You moved Cody to guard, which he should never see a center position unless somebody's injured again.
Right.
Period. And I think you can put James Daniels at the other guard when he comes healthy.
Right. And then you either have depth. What you have is a solid guard.
You have something to build on.
Yes.
Ifedi's played tackle way better than he's played at guard at any point in this year.
All right.
But Mitch also makes the offensive line look better.
We also just played 2 not great defenses.
Of course.
It's gonna.
It's got to all be tempered, and I'm not. Nobody, especially on this show, is gonna is gonna get back on the Mitch train.
I'm not telling you that that's a bunch of all-pro linemen, but I am telling you that's something you can work with. That's something you can build off of, and you can run the football with them. And
right, the last 2 weeks they've looked like a fucking football team.
Like on offense.
There were other weeks where we played bad teams and they looked like they didn't know what was happening. Like it was the first time they'd ever played together.
I got a question. Did you miss Buster Screen? Me neither.
No.
Fuck that dude. Sorry, I'm over him.
All right, but he'll come back if he's healthy. That's what's messed up.
Somebody needs to go punch him in the head.
Yeah, but again, it's like again we realize that we've got some hidden talent on this roster, but we'll never get to see it. I mean, even Trevis Gibson got in the game today and made a little noise.
I want to say something too about the defensive scheme. You know, at first I was kind of down on it, watching the dropping 3 into coverage early,
dropping 8.
Yeah, dropping 8 into coverage early, and I wanted to say that. Towards the middle of the game, Pagano evolved a little bit. You know, he made sure that the ends flared and kept Watson in a pocket, so he had to step up through.
Right.
And everybody held their responsibilities. I mean, even if I can give Robert Quinn that's really all I can give that guy.
Well, if you give what? Huh?
I watched him get tossed.
Well, he's not a big man.
Who?
Robert Quinn.
Oh, Quinn's broken down, man.
Quinn's soft.
I think he's hurt or just
he's got
I don't know,
tricks, man. He's a 2-trick pony.
Well, and that's the thing is that you say the scheme, and I tend to agree with that. Although, let's not forget about the 48-yard screen pass to Duke Johnson. I mean, that drive, Watson was doing what he wanted. Like, he roll around, I'm gonna scramble for 9. Like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. Like, he was having his way.
Yeah, that third quarter drive was the best thing that could have happened for the Bears that the Houston did because they sustained it for like 7 minutes and didn't score. It's like, wow, they did us a favor because we can't do it.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, like, I think the defense is still far from perfect.
And I think the Mitch Truthers and the Extend AR fan club, they should enjoy it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Listen, I mean, when this assembled talent plays to its potential, we see something.
And Cole Kmet finally getting used.
Right. Again, another guy. And this is why I'm not a Pace truther, nor do I think that, Pace necessarily deserves to keep his job. But he has put talent on this roster. And there is talent on the offensive side of the ball. Whatever little, like, weird loyalty cult that Furry and Nagy are running, whatever, like, I don't know what it takes to get into their inner circle. But, I mean, what were they doing not putting Kmet on the field in the beginning of the year? What were they doing?
Do you have play sheet wallpaper? That's
no.
What it takes. There you go. That's
well, like, seriously, like, I bet you, what do you think? Like, they all go into, like, some room in Nagy's basement and they're all wearing robes that have the play cards on them. Like,
yes.
And, like, big hats. And, like, it's just, like, the cult of Nagy, the cult of Andy Reid, like, has their little skull and bones meetings. And
they have, like, a walrus shrine.
Yeah. It's, like, on some... It's on some eyes wide shut shit, like it's just some weirdness. Like because none of why they do anything seems to make any damn sense.
Well, and you got like the dinosaurs that want Montgomery to have the ball 30 times and shit. And the one guy like I would have liked to see today is Miller over Patterson. I'm kind of over the Patterson thing, but
they played smart football today. It was so odd. Offensive players playing smart football and making smart decisions, like
staying in bounds.
Staying in bounds. Anthony Miller did it again, though. He had 2 of them where he caught it and ran right out of bounds. It's like, stay in bounds, let the clock run. Yeah. And Montgomery, he bust one to the sideline, and he knew he was done, so he stopped and he took the game.
But that
Another
yak
thing-
game was vicious today.
Yeah.
Cole
yeah.
Kmet had himself a game of yak, and let me tell you what, I am here for that. That kid played awesome.
But this is exactly what anybody with a brain knew that he could do. And what were they doing? They were throwing it to Demetrius Harris. Now, in his defense, we've talked about this. He was open a lot, and Mitch missed him, and so did Foles. So it wasn't like Demetrius Harris. But how you don't like get it going with Kmet earlier and like identify your own? I mean, it's your own asset.
These are the victory shades.
You know?
Boop, whoever the hell you are. Boop 1225.
Yeah, look at
Victory
yeah.
shades, bro. Welcome.
What's up? Boop?
These are my Hitman hearts.
Good Lord, who's Boop 1225?
Some burn.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Welcome.
What up, Boop? Or we call you Betty.
Well,
So, catch these hands. Okay, Boop.
wow. All right.
Fuck
Good
out
talk.
of here.
Bears win.
Yeah,
Bears
Bears
offensive
fucking
line
win.
looks better. Something you can work with. The defense got pressure.
Yeah.
I mean, Pagano started sending blitzes and it worked. There's a thought.
This dude talking shit. Yeah, exactly. I mean, he needs to send blitzes. He's got to trust his linebackers to get to the quarterback, like Danny and Roquan. I mean, how many times have we said send Danny running forward? You know, like why not? I mean, it's just why not leave him in coverage to get burned?
Looking back, that was a pace blunder. Should have kept quiet and let Danny walk.
Yeah, quit. The Raiders' defense is trash, and they got quit right in the middle of it.
Just from the aspect, I think I would like to see Pace keep more guys that he drafts.
I guess, but again, and we talked about why that was. They were losing Amukamara. Trevathan is a leader. They had to make a decision. I mean, but I feel like that decision was informed.
And I like
partially.
Danny. It just took him a while to get going.
Right, but
Right.
What I think Pace's mistake was, again, is he valued the money more to go after Quinn. And again, he put his priority on that, and that was a stupid signing, and that short-sheeted the bed for the offensive line. It short-sheeted the bed for bringing back some of these other guys. Nick Williams, I think, was a huge loss. We would be a better football team if we had Nick Williams right now, and they didn't have to lose him.
I don't
They
know
could have
about
afforded.
that.
They spent that money on Robert Quinn.
Yeah.
And so that has a domino effect around the rest of the roster.
Well, when you make the decision to let Leonard Floyd walk, you have to replace him. They went out, and we all thought it too. We all thought it.
I mean, ultimately, they
Robert
replaced
Quinn was
Leonard Floyd with Barkevius Mingo, but they should have just done that and not spent the 20 plus, all that money on freaking, Robert Quinn.
Yeah.
You could have,
Imagine if he wakes up though, the way this defense can play if he ever wakes up.
No, I'm done with him. He's dead to me. If he comes back, I'll welcome him back like the Undertaker. But I'm not fucking until he does that, he's dead to me. Like don't I don't want to fucking talk about this guy. Like he's a bum till he's not a bum, and if he comes back and he decides he's not a bum, then all right.
I enjoyed this one today. That's all I know.
Yeah, and that's great. Like, God bless. I mean, listen, it's a brighter day when the Bears win. No matter if they're 1-16 or 1-15 or 15-1, it's a brighter day.
I just feel like the offense is repeatable. You can do this again. You could do this against a team like Minnesota. You can do this.
Yes.
You can do this against Jacksonville, and you can damn sure run the ball against the Packers.
But Nagy's discipline is still the main culprit. And you could say it's laser, whatever. Whatever game plan is basically, informing the play calling decisions. You know what I mean? Like that's the question is, can he be, and again, they still don't run the ball when they should. They still can't quite get a rhythm going. It's still a little too cutesy. I mean, you brought up the Wildcat, but It's like don't put Mitch out wide in goal line. Stop.
Throw it to him. Fuck it.
Nah, just stop with that, you know. And then they had before the Jimmy Graham touchdown, they had that weird false start, which they called on Jimmy Graham, but it was clearly on Mitch because they were about to do some kind of shift.
Right.
They were about to come up under center and shift, and then Mitch was going to drop back into shotgun, and it was all fucked. And then they realized, oh, we'll just bunch everybody to the right and throw it up to Jimmy, and it was great. But the pass wasn't high enough. I mean, whatever. I mean, you know, it's like
Sometimes they try to be the smartest person in the room, and they just
right. Like, just stop with that shit.
Be you. Don't be you.
Right. Be somebody else, please. Good Lord. Like, be Sean McVay. Like,
Yeah.
Stop. You know, I don't know. I just.
If we get seeing a continuation of the type of all-out performance that they did today, hopefully we see that stack. That's all I want to see. Because like you said, I can't root for this team to lose. We'll be critical, and we want what's best. But like, why are we gonna? This team isn't giving up on Nagy. I will say that.
Right, and we're gonna torture ourselves. It hasn't given up on itself. Again, I don't want to give any undue credit to Nagy because he's done so much more bad than good at this point. Like, they haven't given up on themselves. Let's give the players credit. Like, and discredit. We've given them plenty of discredit.
The coach sets the tone, though. You gotta give him some credit because if
the players set the tone.
If this is a lame duck coach, though, shit would be different.
You think?
It's as close as you're gonna get.
You get that guy that really loses the team. He hasn't lost the team. Is all I'm saying. I'm not saying he's getting it. He's gonna be here next year, but
they went on a 6-game losing streak. Like, that's a thing. Like, what more do you have to lose? He lost 6 in a row.
I agree with you, bro. I'm not saying keep Nagy.
Just because they didn't.
I'm just saying they did not give up on him. Is all I'm saying.
How do you know that?
Fair enough statement.
It's not an endorsement for him.
If I would have asked you this question last week, the answer would probably be a little different.
I mean,
because it was.
We haven't said it that much, but a lot of people have talked about him losing the team, quote unquote.
You know, a lot of that chatter.
I agree. Shane Flanagan. They beat up on 2 shitty defenses, but you know what? And
hey, pause on that. Those 2 shitty Ds. Oh, big pause.
I mean,
that's Green Bay talk.
Nah, settle down.
I did.
You got to take it for what it is, though. I mean, they didn't roll over and die.
Like we will take it. You're right. They beat up against 2 crappy defenses, but every team that has wins beats up against crappy defenses. Like,
but having said that, we broke down games where we were like, give our preview. Oh, this team doesn't have a good run defense, and we didn't do shit.
That's a win for us.
Exactly. But there were teams we should have taken advantage of earlier in the year, and we didn't.
I don't care who it's against.
Right.
Like, a win is a win is a win is a win. Like, so yeah, we beat up against, 2 shitty defenses, but we still lost against one. So today we beat up against a shitty defense, and they won. So
when's the last time
progress?
When's the last time the offense scored 34 points?
I don't know. I'm sure Twitter has it.
I mean, the only points given that the defense scored was the safety by Mac. You know what? Good to see him actually getting some love and getting some play today. That's a bad offensive line.
The fumble and recovery.
The strip fumble is just him being a man and saying, "That's my ball, bitch." He went full Debo, rip Debo.
Bilal Nichols.
Bilal's been beasting out. Mario Edwards,
doing his thing, man.
Brent the Man Urban is a spark plug. That dude needs more snaps. I like that cat. His wife is cool as shit on Twitter. Shout out to Kate Urban. One of the coolest. I mean,
Roquan
the coolest. Kate Urban is officially the coolest wife of a Bear ever. I mean, it's not even close. Right, it's not even close. Like,
She
Like,
will smash beers in your face.
yeah, she's a badass. She mixes it up. We appreciate her. We appreciate
How
her.
about some love for Bill Lazor today? Calling the play action because
Can she make t-shirts though?
Yeah, she should make a T-shirt that says Brent and Brent and Brent and Brent and Brent, like Brent Squad.
just him smashing air guitar.
No, wait, go ahead, Jared.
Yeah, I
Finish what
mean,
you're
shout
saying.
out the Laser. You know, he realized
Yeah.
the run's working. So what's he do? He runs play action underneath it. You know, run motion and then run the play action underneath that motion, throwing guys open and putting your quarterback in positions where he can win. You know,
Hey.
something that they didn't do against Detroit when the run was working.
I forgot to get my comeuppance because fuck you. You were talking shit at me for getting on the David Montgomery train because I see something in this kid lately, and it's
You know
probably
what? I
more the
thought-
offensive line play than anything. But whatever.
Who you telling the fuck you?
He's telling me.
Jared, because Jared was all
I
up in
was
my
gonna say,
shit.
I like Montgomery.
No,
Well,
but
I can
I
too,
said
don't
no
get me wrong.
Montgomery slander, and I was feeling him, and I was grasping at straws, and I knew I was, but I just was like, damn it, this kid,
I mean, the
I
kid's
still
only
have
getting
high
11
hopes for
carries
him.
a game.
There's
Shit.
something different about the way he's cut and the way he's running.
it's
Here.
the holes. There's
Jared,
more
that first
holes.
run today was more than Jordan Howard had all season.
I agree.
I mean, I don't need to. We don't have to jump on a Jordan Howard
Here we
slander. I know
go.
Diddy always will, but I don't think that's necessary. But that was fucking exciting. Like, we as Bears fans don't get to see anything like
And
that.
the fact that he hit a home run, like, that's not.
And he
Like,
didn't
that's
get
what-
caught from behind.
Right. It's exciting as fuck. Like, that's exciting to see. We're not the Chiefs fans. Chiefs fans see some shit like that every game.
We're
Like,
not used to
Terry-
this shit. Enjoy it.
Right.
It
No.
doesn't happen a lot. Like, Bears fans,
Right.
enjoy this shit. Fuck it. Fuck all the negativity. Just enjoy it.
Right.
I know there's shit that can be fixed. I know that, yes, if we
Right.
do certain things in the playoffs, which we don't even know if we're 14% chance, so who the hell knows? I doubt it.
We more than doubled our chances.
So we
I
were
mean-
7 before because we're 14 now.
More than doubled.
Oh,
we were
so-
6.
we were 6. It went from 6 to 14.
Right. But
You
I'm
do it
just
again,
saying, like,
watch what happens.
these
Arizona
performances
loses.
as Bears fans don't happen much. Enjoy that
No.
shit. Yes, I would like to see Montgomery run more. It didn't happen, but I'll take the win every time. Especially
Yeah.
this style win. This was a nice,
I mean,
comfortable day for a Bears fan.
If you legitimately want to commit to the run game, you have to
And we found a kicker.
almost- Yeah, you have to almost willingly neglect the pass game. And I think that's what Nagy is never completely willing to do. It's like, if you are really going to have that running off the bus mentality, you have to run and run on some Marshawn Lynch shit. You know what I mean? Like, you have to have that mentality. I don't
Yeah.
think Nagy will ever have that mentality.
I'll tell
No,
you
but our
what.
running back does.
And
That's
our
the thing.
linemen do.
Right, but he still needs. I mean, I need 18 carries a game from this dude every game.
Shout out to Bragsy for having Leno on this week. If you didn't catch it, Braggs had Charles Leno on, and he asked him some really good questions, and you might want to check that out too. If you
For sure, yeah, I didn't check it out, but we always love G Braggs. So
Oh, hell yeah. Greg's a great
check him
dude.
out. Check him out. Braggs in the stands.
Yeah,
Kicks it.
but you know, he asked Leno some questions about, you know, how's the locker room, this and that, and you know, he's like, we're all just focused on getting that one win. They did it. They got their one today.
Well, that's only. I mean, it all sounds cliche, but that's the
All you can
only
worry about.
thing that you can do. I mean, you know, like, listen, they were talking. I was listening to the pregame show on 670 with Hub and Patrick Manley and Olin Cruz
We
today,
still need to upgrade Leno, but
this morning. Yeah, but what were they talking about? Similar things to what we're talking about. The offensive line is starting to look like something. Mitch is being allowed to function in an offense that he's functional in, and the question is can the defense rebound? But the other thing that they were talking to Olin about was, you know, he was like, "Have you ever been a part of something like this?" And Olin's like, "Yeah, you know, I've definitely been a part of something like this." And he's like, "How do you deal with it?" He's like, you always have to realize you're putting stuff on tape as an NFL
Mhm.
player. So that's what ultimately will prevent. If you're going to leave the starters in, they're not tanking. Okay? Like you can force a benching or you can put young guys in if you're really going to try to tank. Or you just cut, you have a fire sale and you leave yourself with nothing but bad players on purpose. But if you have this caliber of players, they're not ever going to tank. Like they're always going to try. I mean, and not to like compare it too much, but it's like at the end of the day, like everybody has jobs that they don't like.
Yeah.
It's no different than you getting up and going to work, even though your job sucks on some level. You may not be getting anywhere in it. I mean, this is the same shit that everybody deals with. So it's like, people sit there and go, well, I don't understand how these NFL players, don't just give up. And we do see them make little decisions here and there.
You get hurt when you give up, man.
Absolutely. So there's, I'd say you ratchet it down from 110 to 98%, 95% here and there. But you still, like Olin said, you have to remember that you're putting stuff on tape,
Yep.
And
The team had energy today. It was different from the start.
80-yard run to start will do that.
Yeah. I mean,
absolutely.
you get up on them early, it changes your whole outlook, it changes how you feel about the game, changes how you call the game.
Well, and I think there is something to Mitch's youthful exuberance right now instead of Foles, old weird guy energy. You know what I mean? Like, the whole Foles sermon shit didn't last very long, did it?
No.
Like you
got a decision to make though.
Well, yeah. I mean, do you think this could?
Here we go.
Let's go. I mean, let's go the full gamut. We all agree that if they make the playoffs, Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy are keeping their jobs. Do we agree? What the McCaskies will do, not what we think they should do. What the McCaskies will do if they
Pace stays for sure.
Okay, so you're saying one of the two, Pace.
One of the two. No,
Brian, what if they make the playoffs? What happens?
It really depends how they make it. I mean, if they continue to perform like this all the way to the playoffs,
yes, let's give them that. I will give them that.
I think they'd both stay.
Okay, in that scenario, if we're scoring 30 points a game
and only giving up 7.
Yeah.
Or even if it's look, even if it's 24 and giving up 17, that's still.
A win is a win. So
yeah, as long as the offense is functioning and scoring points, and the defense is allowing under 20, we can live in that space.
Bro, we could do damage in the playoffs with that method.
Yeah. You put down. You could build a foundation.
You have to kick or something.
Right. I mean, but again, they backed into that shit. They backed into that shit. Like, and now Cairo Santos. I mean, the literal richness of the Bears' twists and turns in their failure is so wild. Like the Cairo Santos aspect of things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Boop doesn't listen to us much. We never call Mitch elite, bro.
Yeah, I don't know who this cat is.
He's on some
fool. Just some spammer.
Let's come out the woodwork, bro.
I pay him no mind.
No.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like
only for the paid subscribers. I'm in the private chat now for the.
Yeah. I mean, but don't you think? I say both come back, and I don't really know if it matters. And I think that's not going to be out of faith or anything. I just think that the McCaskies will take any shred of positivity and use it to save money.
That is a fair statement.
That's the reality.
Fair statement.
Like, if they can, they would rather capitalize on whatever good vibes that generates. And
you're gonna make me get negative now
to save money, and that's okay.
Most likely, what this was a Tampa game.
Or a Cowboys game. It's more akin to the Cowboys game. Because remember, everybody got a big Mitch boner off of that too.
I'd like to see it continue. I'm not gonna lie, but
Did he
played a
play
lot.
that different?
Yeah, he didn't run the ball much in this game at all.
Yeah, which I don't like how hesitant he is to run. Like there
He
were times where he could pick it up.
made decent decisions today.
He
Right.
did, and he allowed playmakers to make plays.
Yeah, and they were able to get guys in space and this and that. Now again, it's against a terrible defense, but I mean, I don't know. There were times where this offense, I think, couldn't even function against no defense.
Right.
Like I don't know if this team, could have completed and run the plays successfully against air the way they were playing. So, like, I'm fine with, I will definitely put down stakes with this success, right? Like,
You gotta
that's setting the bar low, but you know what? We're the Bears. The bar's fucking low. Like, I can own that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't compare us to the Chiefs. I can barely compare us to the Packers. We only compare ourselves to ourselves as the Bears. The Bears bar is fucking low. And so what? I enjoyed the success today because it came and it was fun to watch. At least it was fun to watch, right?
I enjoyed it, man.
It's a full burner.
Like, I mean, any win is fun.
Yep.
Hell
And
yeah.
if you actually found that you didn't have fun today because of some made up shit in your head, I'm sorry, that's depressing.
Good times.
Like, it's supposed to be fun. It's a fucking game. Like, I know, we obviously take it to, extreme level of being, devoted to it and whatever.
Well, like I said earlier, people just want to have their takes right. So once they start saying Pace and Nagy are fired, they have to live in that realm. I still want to see this team do good. And you know what? I'm sure if they don't make the playoffs, there's going to be some change. But
I agree.
I still like seeing my boys
Is there
go out and play well.
So is there a scenario in which they don't make the playoffs and the change doesn't happen? And
if they go 9-7.
Okay,
and beat a Packer team that's trying to play for that first place spot.
They clinched the freaking division today.
But they have to.
LaFleur's like only lost what?
Though.
They have to beat the Packers to go 9-7.
Yeah. So if they beat them convincingly to go 9-7,
remember how hyped we are when we won the division? These motherfuckers already did it.
Yeah.
Right. And that was still exciting. I'm not going to take that away. But
and he's gone.
But the question again, Jer, is there a scenario where big change comes if they what if they play well and they just miss the playoffs?
Nah, I think there's change. There's definitely change. It has to be because you can't run out the same shit that you've ran out for the last 3 years. In my opinion.
Right. I mean, I guess the body of work would be good, right?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, I think that change, I hope the wheels are turning on that. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure they are. I mean, you can't.
When he's dropping the music so I can do my rant.
Yeah, when's the rant coming, right? Football.
It's played on a field.
The grass.
Stop. Anyway.
Yeah, so whatever.
Where were we? Oh, yeah. You can't trot Nagy back out there.
Right.
I mean, if anybody's got a legitimate argument of being able to stay, it might be Bill Lazor. He's created an offense that functions with a quarterback that doesn't play that well.
Is he really calling plays? Who knows?
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like, I would love to find that out.
I hope he is.
Today, I'm pretty solid that he was.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think they figured out some way. I mean, he showed his cards by, saying, "Oh, you would never know." Like if if I wasn't calling plays, we might switch it up, yada yada.
Right.
Right.
But still, no.
Yeah. I just don't know if they I think, and I said this before, is that like I don't know if this organization trusts itself to find better people than Pace and Nagy. I still think they like Pace a lot. I mean, I was talking to you guys about listening to Bill Zimmerman, and Zimmerman said that he believes there's a scenario, that Pace comes back and even gets promoted if Ted Phillips retires.
That
I like
be.
Bill. He was also calling Andy Dalton all offseason.
Right. I mean, dude definitely needs to go, but I'm just worried about, this organization. That's my thing. Like, I don't trust them. And I think that they on some level know that they're not very good at this. And I don't know if they trust themselves, because you see these teams out here flailing, right? I mean, other teams have used a Corsi and it hasn't worked. The Texans supposedly are bringing together the Super Friends to decide who their team is, who their GM and their president's going to be. Like, I don't know that anybody has a great answer. I mean, I've heard people say, well, that the McCaskies have to ask, other organizations, how do you do it, right?
Yeah, they were talking about that with the Texans today. It was just like, and then his wife was just like comatose, just trashed. It's like, I really got to watch this game. Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Well, I mean, we think we have it bad. There's some teams that have it bad.
Oh, they already have their commission picked out basically to look for the new hires, and I think Deshaun Watson's sitting on that panel too.
Right, it's the Super Friends, right? I would hope if he's not sitting on that panel, he needs to be.
Right.
I mean, imagine how it would feel
to hire Dabo
to have, But how would it feel to have the guy, to pay the guy in Deshaun Watson, and then you still can't win? That would suck.
You don't have anything around him. I mean,
right.
Let's just face it. Deshaun Watson is not talent proof.
Right, but you fucked up, and you trusted Bill O'Brien to do everything.
They've got a franchise quarterback, but. Yeah, they're in a rough spot.
And apparently, and I don't know the full backstory of this, but there's some former like Patriots team chaplain guy that was like Bill O'Brien's buddy, and somehow ascended to like a pseudo like VP position within the Texans. I don't know, just some weird Patriots cult shit that was going on behind the scenes, and then they the McNairs are just completely out of control with their franchise.
Right.
I don't know. So it just saying, like, it's not like other teams just have it figured out, necessarily. They just, when you have stability, you have stability. I mean, it feeds into itself. And when you have instability, this is what you get: consistent mediocrity.
And I'm past the point of, yes, we missed out on the draft of those quarterbacks, but if we can get this Mitch to play like this, that's all we need.
But what do you do?
What do you do? Do you tag him? I transition tag?
No, you cannot afford that money. That's like, maybe transition tag, because then he would have to.
Yeah, then he would have to play the last 4 games, like the last 3 games like this.
All right, transition tag would be, like they did with Fuller. I wouldn't be opposed to that. I mean, let's say that you have to pay Mitch let's say you give Mitch a 2-year, $20 million contract, fully guaranteed. That's not the worst. That I could.
Well, that also would be an indictment on the quarterback class coming out of college, which.
No, because you still draft a quarterback.
Do you?
Yes, if you're not in the first, not with your first.
I don't know how much
pick.
the quarterback coming out of college is going to learn from Mitch, though. They have to be.
No, I'm talking about like you draft somebody later on, not the first, not in your top 15 pick. You have to draft the tackle.
Right.
You have to draft the tackle. Right. And then you have instability. I mean, it's just, it's feeds into itself. And when you have instability, this is what you get: consistent mediocrity. I mean, you or the best offensive lineman you can get. And so what I'm saying is that if let's say that this is Mitch now,
I think
if this is Mitch, this Mitch is better than Foles.
Yes,
right?
by far.
Clearly, that may not be saying much, but it's legit. He's better than Foles.
I'll agree with that.
So, is he better than Tyrod Taylor?
Consistently,
I don't know.
Nobody knows because Tyrod's never really played that long either.
Well, and that's what's fucked up is it's not like it's not like other teams don't back into their talent. Like
Tyrod's not like he's not elite by any stretch of the imagination, but like
right. But Tyrod is good enough to make them think, we shouldn't give Herbert a shot.
Really?
Right.
I don't know about that.
Thought.
You're trying to protect a rookie.
Why?
Because you don't want to get him hurt and you don't want to get him killed behind a bad line.
The Chargers have a defense. They have talent on offense. You should throw. Should throw Herbert out there. You want him out there with the most talent around him. It's worked out because of the craziest fluky thing ever.
Yeah. It's kind of fluky.
Okay, so back to the idea. Let's say you could sign Mitch for 2 years at reasonable money.
If he plays like this for the rest of the year?
Well, but then that's the question is, if he plays like this for the rest of the year, does he really drive his price up that much?
I don't think anybody's going to give him starter money. I mean,
bro,
I think that's why you go with something like a transition tag.
Bro, Jared, they just had Colt McCoy start a football game.
Yeah, but he's a backup. You know what I'm saying? He's paid like a backup. Right, You're not going to pay Mitch like
Mariota got pretty big money to be a backup, right?
Yeah. Sure.
Refs were letting Chase Daniel get that touchdown today.
Boy, he ran his little legs off.
He actually looked semi-athletic on that play.
Right.
And they called him for holding him like it was holding, but come on. Like the Packers never get called for that shit.
I think it's so interesting the parallels with the Eagles. You know what I mean? Like I just think it's so interesting that now Peterson has had to completely swallow his pride and fall on his sword and completely change what he does for Jalen Hurts.
Right.
Right? I mean, Jalen Hurts went out there and played well, had 100 yards rushing.
He almost fumbled it away late, though.
Yeah, but he's literally like starting his first game ever as a pro. Like, and he led his team to victory, right? Against the Saints, against a really well-coached team. Yeah, they have Taysom Hill, but they've won with Taysom Hill.
Right.
Like, I'm just saying, like, I think that, that it's interesting parallel, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And
them shits was uncomfortable. It's a vibe.
Yeah. That's always just interesting. I mean, I think this is what we've seen is Nagy is coaching for his job right now.
Yeah. And had he kept Mitch in, he may not be coaching for his job.
Well, that's what I said, and I think I will go out on a limb and
coaching for his job, and he finds himself in that effort of how this team needs to be run. Okay.
Exactly. It's a process. When Nagy says that the team doesn't have an identity on offense, he is telling you that he has still not found his identity because
quirky shit still happens, but
right. But what he has been trying to do this whole time is replicate Andy Reid's identity. He's been trying to clone that. He needs to develop his own identity.
You must not know Andy very well though, because like Andy needs to run. And the run game's working because that's how you have to attack that team. Andy will continue to run.
Right. I agree. I mean, and unfortunately that has been Matt Nagy's identity. Is he's abandoned the run guy. So
I mean, even when your guy gets hot, like 11 carries for a guy that bursted off with the start with an 80-yard run.
That's the way Nagy's going to call it, though. That's the way that Blazers going to call it. You know, you spread out the runs between him and Patterson. And Patterson had a decent day too. I mean,
I'd rather see Lamar Miller, man, if he's
I
healthy,
know,
like,
but
especially against his old
you're just
squad.
not
You're telling me he didn't want to be out there?
I'm sure he did. I am absolutely 100% sure that he did. But the coaching staff wasn't ready for it for whatever reason. And it's the same thing with the offensive line. Maybe they have to back into that. Maybe they have to have no other choice.
I mean, if we do have a shot here at making the playoffs, which again, 14% most likely not happening, but we need to be able to see that we can establish a run and stick with a run, because you need the run in the playoffs.
You've established some building blocks that you can look at and say, okay, we can do this. This is something we can do. We can run I formation. We can run with some kind of confidence. Now the RPO actually worked today.
But can we run it till we break them with it and then open up things off of it? And that's kind of what I'd like to see sometimes. Yeah,
well, we'll have the consistency of this team has been up and down. We're very inconsistent. We always have been.
So here's my question: Is
let's say $25, by the way, in the chat. That was 60 seconds. AA was doing something, so money where your mouth is.
Exactly. Like, but I'm just saying, like, what? Let's.
So that was a comment in the chat.
Yeah, no, I know. I saw that.
Same old.
I'm ignoring that fucking loser. So, but let's say this: what do you have to see? What do you have to see in? I mean, obviously he's enthralled by us, so fucking, it's a compliment. Sit there, try to get our attention.
It's working.
Fucking, yeah, well, whatever. Not that much.
Anyway.
Yeah. So, but what do you have to see in the Minnesota game? I mean, what do you have to see? This again? You have to replicate this performance?
Something like that. I think you have to play something like that.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I want to see this again against Minnesota.
If you can do it against Minnesota, I think you've got something that's real momentum. You know, you're back to 500. All bets are off. You got 2 games for those 2 games, and lay it on the table, see what happens. You know?
Yeah, I mean, that's all that's what they have to do. I mean, I really think, you know, everybody's backs are up against the wall, and we'll see if they come out swinging. I mean, I think, like I said, I think Mitch coming back and having something to prove and also having nothing to lose is helpful to them. That energy is needed.
Right.
So again, not to give Nagy credit for it, but if that really got everybody to where they need to be, because basically everything that they thought they knew about themselves was taken from them, right?
Right.
First, it started with the offense and Mitch and down the line. Then eventually the defense also got stripped of their confidence.
By proxy.
Right. And so at some point you're lying there and all your armor is off and you're just like, fuck, I guess I have 2 choices here. I can just lie here and die, or get up
and change it
and fight and do something different.
Right.
So they did it. Yeah, they did it against a lesser opponent. It was still their opponent. You can only beat the team you play that week.
You got a good chances coming up.
Right. You know, and I'm like, again, I'll always take a win over a loss. There's not that much difference between the 15th and the 10th pick.
Nope.
Not enough for me to want to watch this team lose 3 more times. Like, it hurts. Like, you know,
it sucks losing. I hate losing. Fuck losing.
That was another thing that Owen and Patrick Manley both said today. Was they asked him? They said, Hub said, you know, what's it like going through these losing streaks? And Owen was like, yeah, I always used to not believe the media and the fans when they would talk about how it was also really hard for them when these things happened. But he's like, being now a fan and a member of the media, he's like, I get it. Like, it is, you know, he's like, I have to apologize to people because he's like, I didn't understand how wrapped up you could still be in this, you know. and especially when it's also your job, you know what I mean?
Right.
And it just sucks, you know, like, and anybody that thinks that there's Chicago Bears media that's rooting for them to lose, it's like, come on, nobody wants, you know, them to steep themselves in that negativity. I mean, maybe weirdos like Mike North, but nobody else. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
so yeah, like I want them to win, even if they miss the playoffs. I don't care. If they win out and they still miss the playoffs, I am not going to cry about the draft picks, and I will not sit there and second guess it all and be like, oh, if they had, you know, lost those games, we'd be so much better off.
No, but the biggest thing is, I think I was muted, but you need to be able to cover them when they're winning and losing. Some people are only good at being negative, but I mean,
we've been known to go there.
This is what we do, man.
Today we're positive.
We're fans, though, and it was a positive game, man.
Right.
This is a game they could have easily rolled over and died, and they didn't.
I would rather them win a game like this
the way they did too.
Yes, and then
Some people almost forgot how to take a win.
Right.
It's been like 50 days.
Well, I'm just so used to losing, right? I guess. I mean, like, I just
enjoy it.
Yeah, just enjoy it. And I was gonna say that I would rather them win like this than, you know, with some fluky weird stuff. You know what I mean? Like, this felt like a legitimate win because of the all three phases. You know, it wasn't fluky. They didn't need a bunch of tricks to do it. They didn't get a bunch of lucky bounces. This was a hard fought win, and yes, it was against a lesser opponent, but
you did what you should do against a lesser opponent and a bad team, and you did it convincingly, and that's a great thing.
Right,
and that's something you can build off of. That's how you build momentum.
Right.
And you've got a team that's probably closer to your equal than your superior.
Which is funny because now they're a lesser opponent because we dominated them. But I'm telling you, a lot of people and people that get paid to do this were saying that Houston was going to win this game.
Yeah.
Well, and
we made them a lesser opponent today.
I agree.
A lot of people were touting Houston as a team that was quote unquote playing better, and Romeo Crennel has them looking better, and they were right in it against the Colts. And
exactly.
So it's like, yeah, now that the Bears beat them, well, they were hurt,
but even our own fan base is doing that.
Well, Brandon Cooks is out, like I said, but like we've said many times, you don't make apologies for the people that you play against.
Yo, I mean, we went over it. That
the Cootie kid
guy and Hansen both went off against the Colts. They didn't go off against us.
Yo, the Giants won a Super Bowl going 9-7 and just barely squeaking in.
Right.
Weirder things have happened. I'm not saying that.
I just can't.
You can never count. Once you get in the dance.
Absolutely. Once you get in, it's Katie bar the door, let her rip, tater chip. You name it.
I've never heard
let her rip every cliche out.
Wow, bro.
Let every cliche fly.
We need that on a shirt. Let her rip tater chip.
Let her rip tater chip.
Damn right.
In this segment of what did Jair say? Brought to you by Acme.
I'm gonna bounce Jair all around. Look at you ripping around like a tater chip.
We might as well have some fun. But yeah, I mean, you get in. That's all you gotta do is get in and see what happens.
Get in the dance. Get in the tournament.
Put on your dancing shoes.
I said that the other day, and somebody was like, "What do you mean the tournament?" And it's playoffs. It's a tournament. It's not a tournament. I was like, "What?"
I think we need to wear those throwbacks more too. Those should just be our permanent home get-ups.
Yeah, why not?
I know they 40s jerseys. Those are nice.
They're low key badass.
The boxers of the Midway.
The helmet.
Yeah, I'm always down for that.
You know what I mean?
Down for those big block orange. But yeah,
so do you guys have a HMD go to the game?
Oh, Brian.
You can take the obvious one. It's okay.
I got to give it to Mitch.
Not the obvious answer,
but
the correct answer.
He did what he needed to do. He first half, Mitch, I guess, gets to go to the game. He did what he needed to do. He's shown improvement. I'm not sitting here and saying we should be extending him or we're going to the playoffs or anything like that. But the last 2 weeks, he's showed out, and we've looked better on offense because him being in the game has helped us look better on offense. So that's an improvement for Mitch. Whether it was the benching, whatever clicked, it's been nice the last 2 weeks.
Absolutely.
And hopefully he can continue. But yeah, I'm gonna give it to Mitch, man. He earned it.
What about you, AA?
I'm gonna go with the much maligned by me, Allen Robinson.
He had a hell of a game today.
A hell of a game. He was out there giving every effort, and not that he doesn't. I mean, I think even I've been too hard on him.
The hate goes too far with him, and that's
it's true.
Busted 1,000 yards receiving today.
We have a problem with wide receivers here, especially ones that have any sort of. I mean, this is wide receiver life. Like, and he has a very low ego,
right?
Especially for a wide receiver. So, I mean, even Thielen is way more mouthy and annoying than Allen Robinson. Thielen's on the sideline, like, freaking out on Kirk Cousins. You know what I mean? Like being a total psycho. So Allen Robinson, you're right, gets way too much hate. And a lot of times I think he brings it on himself because he gets on Twitter and he reacts to it.
Right.
And we've seen all that. But dude played his ass off. Dude was, he just played tough. I mean, I love him running 80 yards in front of David Montgomery. I mean, that you have to give him an assist on that run, And I would say my second guy would be Mooney. I mean, who I've also not directly but indirectly kind of crapped on, but just because I felt like, what are you really showing? What production are you actually showing? But that guy, I mean, he really is a spark plug out there. And he took a hit today too.
Yeah, he got jacked, dude. They threw a flag on him.
Yeah.
So,
like, I just like that guy's just a spark plug. That's all.
I want to take Montgomery, but I thought somebody else would. But my original pick was the offensive line.
Okay, I like that. Good.
And they all deserve it. And Jermaine Iafetti playing that right tackle, I like it. That's signable. That's something you can work with. If he plays it like that, everybody else can kind of, we're good.
Right. I mean, I think
this is a first-round talent. This is a first-round pick who was out at tackle, did not play well. They moved him to guard trying to save his career. Injuries pushed him back out to tackle, and that kid looks good.
Right. Well, it's a cool story if he wasn't, like a bad solution to a glaring problem. Like if we just signed him as a backup and then injuries happened and this is, like the redemption story of him, that'd be cool.
Right.
But unfortunately, we expected a lot more out of him. And I'm not saying he's really been a disappointment because you're talking about a $1 million player. You know what I mean? Like, Khalil Mack has $1 million in his couch cushions. And that's what's
but you got to figure we're getting James Daniels back next year too, and
that looks like depth. I mean, so you now have Daniels, you have Whitehair, you have Mustipher. That should be your two.
You Bars there too.
Right. So you have Bars, who either is a swing or is a great backup for guard.
Right. He's played well.
And you have Ifedi, who can be a backup at tackle and guard. And then you got to replace. I don't think Ifedi has given himself that much of a raise.
Well, Massey, I mean,
one of Leno and Massey are getting cut. They're not cutting both of them.
Yeah, I don't think.
I think it's going to be Massey because of his health issues. To be honest,
I think so too.
Like I just don't think they can justify cutting Leno.
They could definitely upgrade him.
Right, but I think you can go out and do that. I mean, they were talking about the guys this morning were talking about John Tate and I can't think of the other guy they were talking about that they went out and signed.
Brown.
Yeah,
Ruben
there
Brown.
there was another guy.
He's on that offensive line.
Yeah, they went out and they signed a tackle.
Yeah.
They were talking about the Bears having a history of going out and having to sign tackles because they haven't been able to draft them.
Correct.
Since like Jimbo Covert.
Yeah. That, was that 81?
Yeah.
82, somewhere around there.
Right, I think it's 83 draft or 82 draft. Anyway, just that could be a thing. I mean, you can find one.
Right. And really,
if they could really get Villanueva, I don't know if they could. He's kind of going to be a high price guy, I think, but I don't think the Steelers can bring him back.
He's not a young kid either, so.
No, that's true too. That's true too, and he could be a guy that maybe is playing well because of all the high quality players around him.
Right.
Yeah, because he's not a guy that's making a lot of money now, but it's a guy that at least stands to get a big raise.
I think you cut Massey, and I think you sign Ifedi, and then you can go from there with your draft.
Yeah.
But, any shade, fellas?
I'm trying to think.
Um,
Got some whoever the hell this boot dude is. I guess there's some shade there, but anyway, real shade. Robert Quinn, man, come on, where you at?
I agree.
Yeah, that's rough. I mean, I just don't know what he's doing. Like, I wish I knew. Like, I would love to, be let in on what's happening if he knows. Because I just feel like, wow, like this guy is just terrible.
He comes across the screen a couple of times, but otherwise he just doesn't get home, and he gets off balance, and they shove him to the ground. It's like, oh well, there goes Robert Quinn.
Yeah, like it's like it those maybe handful of plays that Julius Peppers took off. It's like if you made a player entirely out of just those plays, like that's what Robert Quinn is. And again, it's like I can't sit here and honestly say that I blame Pace for signing him. I liked the signing. I liked the idea. We all touted the rule of 3 and blah 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 blah.
Yep.
This was gonna take them to the next level. And if they have a bookend for Mac, oh my God, this is gonna be insane. And this dude's just been terrible. So, I mean, my shade, I guess, would be just I'm going to throw shade at Nagy because as much as I feel like what's going on now he could take credit for, I also feel like it serves to shed light on his previous transgressions.
Nobody knows how to kill a game-changing turnover from Khalil Mack quite like Matt Nagy.
Oh my God! Yes, absolutely.
3 and out immediately after this trip.
Yeah, we need to get Fishbane on that. Like, how many times has the Bears defense failed to capitalize on a turnover, an offense?
A lot.
A lot. Like, how many times has the defense gotten them a turnover and then just had to get in the gift of going back on the field 2 minutes later?
Right.
The offensive line, like you said, you gave them your game ball, but game ball. Wow. It gave them your player, the group of the game, we'll call that. And there were times though when the freaking pocket closed quick.
True. When you're put in definite down and distance situations, it doesn't matter how good your offensive line is. I mean, we watched it tonight with Buffalo and Pittsburgh, right? When you got certain down and distances, they're going to send the house, and you can't block everybody.
Yeah, shout out to my brother. He must be feeling good about his Bills.
Oh, my God. They're having a good time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they became who we thought that maybe the Bears could become, and there were a lot of parallels between Allen and Trubisky and
not anymore.
No,
not anymore. But I mean, I think Allen had a lot more raw tools and a higher ceiling.
Yeah, Cannon.
Allen to me is the definition of the guy with the high ceiling.
He's
But
what we
currently-
wanted Cutler to be.
Yeah, but right away he was very raw, and they just had to ride it out. Like they literally just had to ride that out, and then keep kind of chiseling away and finding where they could kind of just channel all that.
Precautionary tale. You want to see Buffalo if you're going to do it as a Buffalo fan. You better do it this year because you don't want to miss the opportunity. Because 2018, we had our opportunity.
Right. But I think you can make that cautionary tale about almost every NFL team except for a few. I mean, there are only a few teams every year that are guaranteed
the window's small. Yeah.
To be back in the mix. I mean, if you're the Chiefs, you're not worried. You're going to be back in the mix. The Saints. If you have a top 5 quarterback, that's what that gets you is you're in the mix.
Right.
If you don't, you better capitalize because you don't know what's going to happen. Now, Allen, I mean, he could still have highs and lows, but you look at him as a guy is like, okay, they took a swing on high ceiling. Is he a Trey Lance type of a player?
We'll
I
see.
mean,
I don't know.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Is like I think that I don't know. I'm not talking about like style of play or whatever, but the comp would be I mean, Allen went to Wyoming, right?
Yeah.
They don't play a ton of people, but he had that wow arm.
Carson Wentz had that too,
Right. So good for them. I mean, so that's what I'm saying is like I think
Tanner Gentry in the NFL.
What? He's back in the NFL?
He got him in the NFL.
Yeah, absolutely. I was like, Tanner's back? What?
So I guess Braggsy owes something to Josh Allen, really.
Right, exactly. So yeah. Anything else?
I can't think of anything.
I think we touched on everything, boys.
Good
Yes,
win.
sir.
Enjoy it. Vikings next.
Yeah. It's okay. Just enjoy it.
Good for Mitch.
People call us negative and whatever. Yeah,
Good
good
for
for Mitch. And I told you on this damn podcast that I will be willing to see them. If he plays like this for 3 more games, I would live with Mitch for 2 more seasons. That's a
commitment.
That's
a masochistic commitment.
I'm not just hater. Yeah, I mean,
we want to see this team do this, man. Like
the bar is low.
Yeah,
It's low.
This was a complete team win. I'll take it every week.
Absolutely
crazy.
And even if they happen once every 7 weeks.
Yeah. Let's not do that.
No.
That's us.
I will definitely find something
But
else.
This was the kind of game we've been waiting to see for a long time. So it did feel good to see it.
Yeah, it
Maybe
did.
it's probably too little, too late, but gotta enjoy it, man.
Yeah, I mean, even if it's got its, you can poke holes in it.
It's my Hanukkah present.
Hey, Mazel Tov, L'chaim to life. All right, well, that's just another episode of The Tailgate Show. Appreciate you listening. Appreciate the haters that came and tried to talk shit. You make us stronger. Thank you very much. And please subscribe. We're switching it up. We went solo again. We're out there. Please find us, subscribe to us. We appreciate it. And it's just another episode of The Tailgate Show.
The Bars.
The Trubisky. Hey, it's the Monte Carlo Mitchie.
Monte Carlo Mitch. Why is he like a pizza chef?
I don't know. I didn't